The Theological Education by Extension College, best known as TEE College, is Africa's largest provider of theological education. Based in Johannesburg, South Africa, TEE College offers a range of qualifications that help students from a range of Christian traditions to prepare for ministry in church and society. Many of our students are preparing for ordination, but many are studying to equip themselves better as lay preachers, church workers, or as everyday witnesses to the good news of Jesus Christ. Join us on the journey towards serving God more faithfully and sharing the gospel more effectively. Every day, all over Southern Africa, Christians serve others in many different ways. Preaching in church, leading worship, managing a local church or community-based organization, running a home-based study group, visiting people in need, sharing their faith with others, engaging with issues in the wider society. How are people equipped and trained for all these different forms of service? Often, they just learn on the job, or they are shown what to do by someone who's more experienced. If the training is more organized, there might be a course to attend or a book to read. But many Christians find themselves thrown in at the deep end, and many feel that they're drowning. So how can the people of God be helped and supported in serving God and one another and the wider community? Are there training resources that are pitched at the right level, that are focused on practical ministry, that take into account the diversity of Southern African churches and contexts, that can be easily accessed and that are affordable? We'd like to introduce you to a set of training resources that are all of those things and more. Welcome to TEE College's higher certificates that cover a range of Christian ministries. For more than 40 years, TEE College has equipped people to be servants of God and witnesses to the gospel. They are people of all ages, from hugely different backgrounds, belonging to a wide range of churches and exercising all kinds of ministries. What they have in common is that they choose to study while living and working in their own context, rather than studying full-time in a residential theological school. So why are these new higher certificates needed now? What do they offer that TEE College hasn't offered for 40 years or more? Higher education in South Africa has changed a lot in recent years. In response, the college has been designing more effective and relevant ways to extend the learning experience into the homes, churches, and local communities of our students. What hasn't changed is the need to equip the saints for ministry, as Paul's letter to the Ephesians puts it. The saints are first and foremost the people in our churches, the millions of people who regularly worship together, serve one another, and witness to God's love in the world. It is for them that TEE College has now designed a new set of higher certificates. Who might be most interested in taking one of these higher certificates? The simple answer is anyone who's involved in ministry of some kind in the local church. We have designed these higher certificates to equip local preachers, pastoral carers, worship leaders, people in positions of leadership and management, people ministering with children or young adults, and anyone who wants to see the church grow. So these higher certificates have been designed specifically for people who study on their own. We have designed them to be excellent resources for any kind of Christian ministry. So people in full-time or part-time ordained ministry would also benefit from studying them as refresher courses that offer more depth than most individual courses offered in the degree or diploma qualifications. After all, none of us learns everything once and for all. Learning is a lifelong journey. Like all the qualifications that TEE College offers, these new higher certificates focus on equipping the heads, hearts, and hands of anyone who seeks to grow in serving God and God's people. They are also easily accessible. You don't have to go to college or study full-time. All the study materials you need are in the workbooks we supply, and these are delivered to your home or workplace. And the higher certificates are affordable. The fees are within the reach of most people. So what makes these higher certificates different from anything else that TEE College offers? Let's highlight 3 important features. First, they are very practical. All through these higher certificates, you'll be encouraged to practice both familiar and new skills, to do things that will make a difference to you, to your church, and to the world. Second, these higher certificates offer an integrated learning experience. Instead of separate courses in, say, New Testament or Christian ethics, the major topics of Christian theology are woven together throughout the courses. The third key focus of our new higher certificates is that they are transformational. For TEE College, transformation is about the deep change we experience when we believe and live and share the good news. This good news is what Jesus proclaimed and what his disciples down the ages have also proclaimed. It is good news about what God has done, is doing, and will do in the world that God loves so much. But the good news does not just transform us as individuals. It transforms the church, and through us, it can transform the world. These higher certificates are designed to lead each of us and our churches into the kind of transformation that makes a difference in the world around us. In short, our new higher certificates offer practical and integrated resources for learning how to be transformed and transforming followers of Jesus. Anyone wanting to build a structure needs to decide what kind of foundations to lay before building starts. For example, if you're putting up a chicken coop, you don't need to put meter-deep concrete and steel reinforcing under it. You just need a few holes in the ground. Then you drop poles into them and fix them in place with some concrete before you put up the wire enclosure. But what if you're building a multi-story block of offices or apartments? You will, of course, need really solid foundations that will keep the structure above them safe and strong. So, what are we building with these higher certificates? Why are the foundations so important? Well, these higher certificates are designed to equip Christian people to preach or lead worship or lead and manage an organization or care for others in the most faithful and most effective way possible. Each of those forms of ministry is a major responsibility. Each of them requires the best that we can be, the best that we can offer, and to equip the heads, hearts, and hands of those who gain these qualifications so that they can offer their best. TEE College asks them to dig deep to ensure that strong foundations are in place. The fundamental courses lay the right foundations, 4 of them in fact. Together, they make Christian ministry possible. Without them, it would be shaky and unstable. Let's inspect these foundations. The first foundation is to be a disciple of Jesus. Maybe this is obvious. After all, how can anyone be a Christian minister if they don't know what it means to follow Jesus? If they don't know how to read and interpret the gospel stories? If they don't know how to pray and so on? However, no matter how well we think we know Jesus, we all need to meet him afresh. And in the process, maybe we'll learn things we hadn't imagined before. No matter how long I've been a follower of Jesus, there's always something more I can learn. The foundations can always be made deeper and stronger. The first fundamental course is designed to do just that. A second foundation is to have a firm grasp of the biblical themes that are central to Christian discipleship and to embody these in our daily lives. Being a disciple of Jesus is so much more than going to church, reading the Bible, praying, and so on. In each of the fundamental courses, we use a diagram that describes the key dimensions of discipleship. These are the call to serve God in worship, to serve God's people in community, and to serve God's world in mission. All 3, worship, community, mission, are centered on the cross, which gives shape to our spirituality and roots us in the limitless love of God. Alongside this, it is vital to know what good news is, and especially how Jesus embodied that good news in his message of the kingdom or reign of God in his teaching and actions, and supremely in his death and resurrection. That is the good news we are called to live and proclaim too. And so, The second fundamental course helps to lay those foundations. A third foundation is a deep commitment to the life of the people of God, the church, through our local congregation. But that commitment needs to be honest, formed by the vision of the church that we find in the scriptures. So Christian ministers need to be equipped to be both lovingly critical and critically loving towards the church they serve. The third fundamental course prepares you for that kind of commitment through offering a vision of the church and through telling the story of how, over 20 centuries and more, the church has faithfully lived out that vision, but also how it has often failed to do so. A fourth foundation is a passionate commitment to the world that God loves so much. That means being able to interpret what God is doing in the world and to understand what goes on in our communities, in the wider society, in the environment. And that requires certain tools, certain skills to interpret and to bring God's good news to situations of pain, injustice, and lostness. That's what Christian mission is about. And that's what the fourth fundamental course aims to equip you for. These four foundational aspects of being a disciple of Jesus need to be in place, no matter what kind of ministry God has called you to exercise. That is why the four fundamental courses underlie all of TEE College's new higher certificates. Lay the right foundations. Start your pilgrimage in the right place. The rest will follow. The building will stand stable and strong. The pilgrimage will head in the right direction with the right resources to hand. There are four options. You can register for any of the following, depending on the kind of ministry you currently exercise or the ministry you feel called to explore. The Higher Certificate in Christian Leadership and Management, the Higher Certificate in Christian Worship, the Higher Certificate in Christian Pastoral Care, the Higher Certificate in Christian Proclamation. Let's look at each of them in turn. The Higher Certificate in Christian Leadership and Management includes training on conflict resolution, decision-making, team roles, financial management, project management, and so on. The kind of tools that church leaders and managers need to have in their toolkit. If you study Christian worship, you'll develop your spirituality, encounter a range of different worship styles, learn how to plan and design corporate worship, and to lead worship teams, and gain practical skills for the use of sound equipment and other kinds of technology. The Higher Certificate in Christian Pastoral Care focuses on the principles of offering pastoral care. You'll learn basic skills in care and counseling in contexts such as life changes, human suffering, HIV/AIDS, and the family. The Higher Certificate in Christian Proclamation will help you to build on what you learned in the fundamental courses about reading and interpreting the Bible and how to think theologically. You'll learn how to prepare sermons and to design worship services that enhance the sermon. You'll also be given the necessary resources to prepare talks for other contexts such as funerals, small groups, public or community occasions, and so on. TEE College offers this range of qualifications because they are among the most relevant for people in Christian ministry in our context. We hope that this overview of TEE College's new Christian ministry higher certificates has given you some idea of what they offer and how they work. You'll find detailed information about each of the higher certificates, the fees, and how to register on the TEE College website. Remember, you can always contact the college directly if you are still uncertain, or if your particular questions are not answered on the website. One more thing. TEE College has always insisted that it is not a correspondence college. We are an extension college. We extend your learning experience into your local context and faith community. You need to make this journey of learning and growth in the company of other pilgrims, not all by yourself. You need to be part of a learning community to get the most out of your studies. We do our best to offer you, the student, opportunities to meet with a local tutor and to take part in local study groups. To find out more about local tutorial groups, please see the college yearbook and check our website. All that remains now is to thank you for sharing in this journey with us. We trust that you are excited and energized about the pilgrimage of growth to which each of these higher certificates invites you. Whatever you decide to do, walk with the Lord, and we at the college hope that we'll meet you on the journey.